What is going on, everyone? My name is Jeff, and in today's video we are going to initiate coverage on Aurora Cannabis, ticker symbol ACB. They trade on the New York Stock Exchange and their current price is $5.86. Now guys, if this is your first time tuning in, make sure to subscribe now so you don't miss any content and future updates. And also, go ahead and hit the like button, guys. If I can get this video to 100 likes, I will make a follow-up video showing my personal holding in Aurora Cannabis. So let's start here, guys, on the Aurora Cannabis website. I will have a link for that down in my description box if you would like to go check it out yourself. But first things first, looks like you got to put in what province you live in, your year, month, and date that you were born. So I don't really live in a province. I live in the United States, but I guess I'm just going to have to pick one and kind of roll with it so we can get in and see what the website has available. So let's just start by kind of looking around and see what their focus is here on the company website. It says wellness starts with Aurora. Our award-winning support staff, experienced cultivators, and network of healthcare practitioners are here to help remove barriers to medical cannabis. We're honored to be a part of a movement that's helping Canadians across the country access their medicine, and as we continue to grow, to provide patients with reliable access to safe, consistent, and effective medical cannabis. So that pretty much tells you what they're all about, guys. Most everybody knows this is a huge cannabis company. So their company commitment is affordable prices, flat rate compassionate pricing, free shipping Canada-wide, and influence on future strains and products. So we've got a little bit of touch of what their company focuses. Let's go look at their product line. They have all these different selections that you can choose from. So they have dried cannabis, cannabis oil, milled decarb, milled blend, frost, and soft gels. Then you can also jam over here and select THC or CBD, indica, sativa, and hybrid. I'm just going to click on view all. We will just kind of look at everything for a minute. So I have Aurora Indica soft gels, sativa soft gels, CBD soft gels. Cool. Look at all this stuff. Aurora Cloud CBD, Luna Banana Split. Look at this. Thor Ghost Train Haze. That's dried cannabis. They have Aurora THC Drops. That's cannabis oil. Aurora THC Drops cannabis oil. That's for the indica. And this one would be the sativa. Here's a couple more products that they offer. And then the Bonanza Borealis blend. Let's check that out. This is some really cool artwork they have here on the website. So the Bonanza Borealis blend is a finely milled blend, specially crafted from whole buds by our in-house team of products experts. Bonanza's lighter green color is complemented by vibrant purple hues that run throughout the blend. It has a THC content level of 15%. Alright guys, let me walk you through this in case you want to go and look at their investor relations department. You would go up here to this top line and come over here and click on FAQ. Then you will scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and right down here on this investors tab, you can click on that and this will pull up their investor relations page. Right here is the stock quote that is on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So it's trading up a little bit higher than the one here in the United States is. That one's $7.84. You can subscribe to their investors newsletter. I think that would be handy. I'm probably going to go ahead and do that quick. And they also have a phone, email, and they have social networking in case you want to be in touch. So pretty good investor relations page, you guys. Looks like they got quite a bit of good information here. Of course, you can always sniff a company out by how good or how poor their investor relations department is, and this looks like they're very open and communicable. So let's take a few minutes, guys, and go over some of the company fundamentals. I feel like Aurora Cannabis has some of the best fundamentals in its space when you compare it to Tilray or Canopy Growth or Afria or any of those other marijuana companies, guys. I feel like Aurora is probably one of the strongest companies out there, okay? So they're currently sitting at about a $5.81 billion market cap. Now right here, guys, their 52-week change, they're only up 4% on the year. Now this is due, all the indexes crashing over the past 2 months. I feel like the MJ and cannabis sector has been probably hit harder than any other sector. So over the past 2 months, while the indexes have been crashing, have been falling apart, I feel like probably most long-term investors have shifted their money out of the marijuana sector and have probably invested into safer things. That does not mean, though, that these companies aren't very, very valuable in the long term still. So as far as their profit margin, guys, they're actually positive 226%. That's a very good metric to have. Their operating margin is negative 229%. You know, you're not going to look at any of these marijuana companies and get the fundamentals, you will, out of a really highly developed company, because they're still in the early stages here in Wall Street. They're negative on assets, but they do have 7% positive return on equity. And as of November 14th of this year, guys, 9% of shareholders on the shares outstanding are holding the stock short. Now, I have a feeling as the indexes have moved down, I'm sure more of the shorts have covered out of this position, and I'm willing to bet that number is much lower now. Now, down here in the income statement and the balance sheet, this is where things really get pretty good for Aurora Cannabis. So this is really, in my opinion, how marijuana companies are graded right now, okay? So none of them are fully profitable and none of them are fundamentally strong just yet, but all of them are graded off quarterly revenue growth and quarterly earnings growth, okay? And Aurora really stands out from the crowd. It has a 259.7% quarterly revenue growth. And look at this, 2,862% quarterly earnings growth. Okay, so now that is a company I would feel confident in investing in. Then down here on the balance sheet, guys, is very important to keep in mind how difficult it is for these companies to keep debt low and keep cash flow high. And I'm really, really impressed with this metric right here. So Aurora has $371 million of cash and only $218 million of total debt. I think that is a good vote of confidence in investing in a company like this, you know, going forward. It's nice to see a company with more cash than debt. Guys, I have the 3-year chart pulled up here on Aurora Cannabis. And of course, this used to be under a different ticker symbol. It wasn't until the end of October in 2018 when Aurora Cannabis actually came to the New York Stock Exchange. So here in America, the only way we could get it is to buy it off the OTC markets. But as you can see, guys, Aurora Cannabis has been a great investment over the past 3 years. This was a penny stock. It traded in the pennies, 40, 50, 30 cents. Late 2016, early 2017, it started to tick up to $1 or $2 and pretty much traded sideways for most of 2017 until the end of the year when it really started seeing some movement. As you can see here, back at the end of 2017, guys, it was trading around $1 and $2, and then it really took off in January of 2018. It hit $10, $9, and $10 a couple of times, traded up as high as $11. And then, of course, it has drifted back off. Then in August of this year, guys, it hit a low, came down to the $4 to $5 range before it ran up really big into legalization in Canada. So that took place October 17th. And this candlestick right here, guys, was on October 15th. So it hit a high of $12.53 right before marijuana was legalized in Canada. And then it's pretty much been all downhill since. Now, I do want to emphasize something, is that Aurora Cannabis is not kind of the black sheep of the market. All stocks have been hit very, very hard over the past 2 months, and all the indexes are down. And that is one of the explanations why Aurora has been shorted so much. So as a long-term investor, guys, you have to look at this as a great opportunity to buy into this stock at cheaper prices, because it's drifted down and now it's trading in the $5 range. But I do have a strong inclination to say that once the markets start to recover and once we start getting moving back into a bullish direction with the stock market, I can easily see Aurora Cannabis getting back to those levels that it was at in October. Now, back on the 12th of November, guys, Aurora reported quarterly earnings, and they had an outstanding knockout quarter. I actually covered Aurora's earnings, and I will have a link come up right now if you'd like to go back and watch that. Unfortunately, the stock did tank that day because the indexes were dropping so dramatically. But let's just touch on this, guys, and I'm going to give my opinion on what to expect for next quarter. So just real quickly, guys, the revenues for quarter one were up 262%. Cannabis revenue was up 237%. Their net income and quick assets were up 65.7%. And their registered medical patients was up 250%. So they had an outstanding quarter. Obviously, it did not show up in the stock price, but keep in mind that this earnings report was before marijuana was legalized in Canada. But I think their next earnings report is going to be far superior to this one. And I'm expecting these numbers to grow quite a bit more. Now, will it show up in the stock price? Like I said, a lot of that's just going to have to do with what direction the market is pulling at the time. You know, if they keep cranking out huge quarterly revenue growth like this, guys, you know, seeing a lot of increase in their quick assets and their active registered medical patients, I think over the course of time, you will see the stock price recover a lot. So they do have 3 operational facilities in Canada, plus 2 new facilities projected to be operational by the end of 2018, including a 1 million square foot facility under construction in Denmark, okay? Aurora Mountain was Aurora's first facility, completed in 2015, and it's a 55,000 square foot production facility in Mountain View County. Aurora Vi is a 40,000 square foot fully licensed indoor facility, and that is located in Quebec. And then in 2017, Aurora Cannabis began construction of an automated 800,000 square foot plant in Alberta that it said would be capable of producing 100,000 kilograms of cannabis annually. So Aurora definitely has a lock on the functionality and the real estate to produce a large quantity of cannabis and marijuana products. So where does Aurora stock go from here, guys? I mean, all these gains that it's made over this past year have been given away. You know, the stock is basically trading exactly where it was a year ago. So where do we go from here? Where does Aurora stock go from here? And my quick answer is probably wherever the indexes take it, okay? If the indexes continue to trade down, I think Aurora and all the marijuana companies will continue to trade down. But you have to look at this as a good opportunity to invest in a good company on the long-term side. So I would have certain price points in place to buy more of the stock on each big drop, okay? If you see it, like I said, it's trading right now around $5.90. If I see it get back into the $4 range, I would probably add more to my position. You know, always leave yourself some room to buy more of the stock as it falls, because I think in the long term, and especially the next earnings report will be very telling on to which direction Aurora Cannabis is going to be moving. I think this is going to be a real winner in the long term, guys. Like I said, they have the real estate, they have all the capability, and they even have probably the best fundamentals in the space and a lot of room to run. And again, I have mentioned this in several different videos, guys, but keep in mind the Alternative Harvest ETF, ticker symbol MJ. If you want more exposure to all of the different cannabis and marijuana companies, you want to be a little bit better spread out, also be subjected to a little bit less risk, you know, consider investing in ticker symbol MJ. MJ does pay a dividend each and every quarter, where hardly any of these companies do. So MJ does offer a very valuable asset class, okay? So they have close to 10% of their holdings in Canopy Growth, close to 10% of their holdings in Cron, and 9.3% of their holdings in Aurora. But they have other ones in here too, guys, like Tilray, GW Pharmaceuticals, CanTrust, HexoCorp, Green Organic Dutchman, and Emerald Health Therapeutics. That is just a few. So this would be a little bit less direct way to invest in Aurora Cannabis, but like I said, not taking as much downside risk and receiving a quarterly dividend. So keep that in mind. So anyways, guys, that's all I got for today's video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. If I get this video to 100 likes, I will make a video with total transparency on my personal holding on Aurora Cannabis. So thanks for watching the video, everyone.